Hey, welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. I feel compelled to make a video and address this this video that we made in fun, tongue-in-cheek, and explain, try to explain the phenomena. This is the one that says, what does it say, Beth? Tell me what it says.
Filipino wife.
Yeah.
Brutal and abusive to his foreigner husband.
Brutal and abusive wife to her husband.
Foreigner husband.
To her foreigner husband. And guess who the foreigner husband is? Yes, it's me. Well, I am almost speechless at some of the comments that we've had, what I put it down to is the fact that we are gaining new subscribers at the rate of somewhere between 700 and 1,000, sometimes more per day, right? For which we are very grateful. Okay. And we welcome all of those new subscribers, and what we would like to try to guide you to do so that you get into the swing of things is to realize that we are a feel-good channel. We don't go for the abusive language, we don't go for the bad language. If you come out and you want to do the effing and the blinding, as my mother used to say, oh well, it's always effing and blinding, isn't he? Which means using the four-letter words. We don't do that, you know. There's plenty of places that you can go and you can do that, and they will think you're very clever, which maybe you are. But on here, we don't do it. And if you are abusive to another subscriber, well, we get rid of that too. So we just get rid of it. You might enjoy, if that's the word, you might enjoy a few minutes of the particular level of fame that we can offer you in the comments section here, but it's not going to be for long. So I'm just looking at some of the ways that things can go wrong. And with auto correct nowadays, with autocorrect you can, unless you are scrupulous in checking, in editing, what would we call it, in actually editing your proofreading, I think that's the word, proofreading. Unless you go back and you proofread what you've read, you will be surprised at the way that autocorrect can change what you've done. So we get some very funny comments, and they're obviously from intelligent subscribers. And then what autocorrect has done is done something. As soon as they've turned their back and pressed and put their forefinger on enter, autocorrect comes marching in and it changes something. We got you have to be a northerner from the north of England to get this, I guess, but I'll explain it to you. Okay, in the north of England, instead of saying shut your mouth, they say shut your gob. Oi, shut your gob. And your gob is your mouth, of course, right? Well, we all know how to spell God, and we all know how to say God bless. But this subscriber had written God bless both of you, and autocorrect had come along and it ended up as gobless both of you. I'm sure that that's not what he was trying to convey, but this is what happens. And how can we explain this particular video? It has been extraordinary, and we've had so many that have taken it absolutely seriously. Now let me explain to you how we set up. Look, there is a difference between reporting an event and setting up a performance. Now, you must have realized that maybe we're wannabe, okay, but we want to make you laugh. We are here, we're not just here to report on heartbreaking, heartrending situations where people are living in desperate situations, facing desperate, life-threatening medical issues. We're not just here on that, okay? That, of course, is our mission, to help people who are in that situation. We're a little bit held up at the moment, which you may not, if you're a new subscriber, you may be seeing this as an explanation for the first time. We're in the process of applying for our non-profit, non-stock, non-profit status as a non-profit, non-stock, non-profit corporation. And even though it's just the two of us, Beth and I are working at it, it will grow. It has grown. It has grown exponentially since we started just not even 2 years ago. Okay, so we're in the process of doing that, and we have been required by the DSWD, which is the Philippine Social Security Department. We've been asked to sign an agreement saying that we will not try to raise funds to do the work that we've been doing for the last 2 years, and that is housing people. We've been housing people, getting them to the hospital. We have our own. It's a very modest thing, a little tin pot thing, really. But we've given over 100 kids a program to look forward to where they can eat a lunch, and we've got over 100 kids on that, and all of that has been put on hold. We can't build a house, not even with our own money. We've actually got the finances to be able to rehouse as many as possibly 6 to 8 families who are living in the most wretched conditions, and we could give them a new house free, because we've got the money and it has been given to us and entrusted to us and empowers us to do that. And we're held up because of one complaint, which we won't go into. Someone said that we're doing it without a license, which strictly speaking is true. So we were in the process right at that time of applying, and all that we did was continue what we were doing. But the DSWD, they felt that they had to cover themselves and not condone that we were still asking for funds. We would tell a story. This is how we did it. We would tell a story. We would tell a story of a family. We would show the conditions that they were living in, be it that they needed medical assistance like baby Faith, be it that it was blind girl Sarah who had been trying to raise a few pennies for her family by husking coconuts with her teeth. Amazing, amazing people. And we were helping those by showing their story, and then we didn't have to ask for a thing. Our subscribers, who are totally real, totally heartfelt in their response to what we do, sent money and said, I want to help build that house. I want to help get that baby medical assistance. I want to help with many, many things, and they could choose what they wanted to help with. And in the future, we'll be able to do that still. That's always been our way of doing things. Well, in doing all of that, we've been asked not to, and now we're just kind of making fun videos. And the way that we do our fun videos, so now I've explained to you how we would normally go about being able to afford to be able to build a house for someone for nothing and give it to them and move it in and see a family dry, safe, secure. That's how we did it. Now, there's another side of it. Beth and I both like to feel that we have a pretty sharp, even if it is different sense of humour, in that her sense of humour is quite different to mine. And so our exchanges, where we put up spontaneously, actually, our talk, what we call our nonsense multitasking talks, where we broach a subject and then we actually show the difference between my thinking and Beth's. Beth's is completely simplistic. She just looks at things in an incredibly simplistic, intuitive way, and hears me, and sometimes I don't get it. And the videoing of such exchanges has appealed to the sense of humour to many, in fact most of our subscribers, up to this recent video that we made of the brutal and abusive wife. Well, what was the subject of that? Well, if you have been one of those who have been outraged by this, about how me as the older man, and I'm not being respected, am I? And I'm not being given any food, and I'm not, somebody said, doesn't he have any money? Doesn't he have any money to buy eggs and things? And stuff like that, and advice to Beth, saying, don't embarrass yourself on YouTube, Beth. You know, I know you mean well. These are deadly, believe me, there are two, well, there are many, but there are two phrases which always send a shiver down my back. One is, I know you mean well. That's one. I know you mean well, but, and then comes the big but. And the other one is that they'll do almost a character assassination, and then they'll say, oh, just saying, you know, just my 2 cents, you know, as if, and it reminds me of some of the script that was on The Time Bandits, which you may have seen, a movie that you may have seen called The Time Bandits, which had some brilliant quotes in it. But one of that was taken by a friend of mine. He always used to say it, and he would come out with some filthy line of insults. You dirty little, sneaky little, snivelling toadies. Thank you, sir. It was a black humour, and the idea of that video was as simple as this. We went to see a harvesting of fish, Filipino style, from the fish ponds, which are huge, some of them acres big, and they breed fish in them. Okay, so they introduce the fish, and when they're at the age and size that they can be harvested, they go in and they have a way of draining the water gradually out of these huge lakes. Look like lakes anyway. They're actually fish ponds, and they're only a foot or 18 inches or a foot or 2 feet deep. So very, very little in terms of actual water, but that's what they breed them in. And they kind of force the fish to follow the flow of water as it's emptied out of these different sluice gates into a narrow channel, and then they're harvested. So we went to see this, and as the lakes drained, they revealed this great other harvest of these little black conical shaped shellfish, and these are a delicacy for Filipinos. Now, people saw me in my happy hypocrite role, and they saw it and they took it as being serious. Now, this is how we set that video up. We set that video up the same as we would any other comedy video. Hey, why don't we do this? And we lightly rehearse something, say, well, why don't you do that and I'll do this, and you say this and I'll say that, and then everything else is spontaneous, and that's how you get something that may actually make you laugh. It's spontaneous to a degree, and then it's rehearsed before that so that we know roughly where we're going with it. And then, surprise, surprise, especially with Beth, something totally unexpected will turn up and we'll all be laughing. But on that particular one, we said, all right, we'll do a video and we'll show you eating these shellfish. And I say, I'm not going to eat those shellfish. And then we all know what's going to happen. So the shellfish are cooked, and they're cooked. Maybe they're not cooked as some of you expert cooks would do it, but they're cooked in the way that they have been cooked on the hill for generations, and they're deemed delicious. Now, my reaction is spontaneous, but it's a performance, okay? Now, if you choose to see someone who is being forced to eat something that he really doesn't want, then what's happened is that you've, a little bit like Dodge City in the old days when Marshal Wyatt Earp said, check your guns in at the city limits and don't bring your guns into town. It seems like you've done that with your sense of humour. You've checked your sense of humour in, and, or like the other example, say batteries not included. Well, it's not going to happen without the batteries. It's not going to happen without your sense of humour. It can't, because it's supposed to be funny. Now, you may decide that it's not funny, and we respect that, because very often I will tell Beth a joke and she'll say, well, what happened then? There's a very favourite joke of mine that I like, that always makes me laugh when I tell it again. There was a set of Irish twins, and the Irish are traditional, and I'm Irish descent, so I can do this without being called a basher. One of the Irish twins dies, and they're having the wake. Well, in Ireland, they often wouldn't put the body of a loved one into some cold and heartless parlour. They would have the deceased in the parlour, and when they had a party, there would be a lot of booze and a lot of food, and everybody would have a great time, and they would celebrate the life of the deceased. So, in this particular case, one of the twins, the one that's died, is in the coffin, and the remaining surviving twin is standing there with a distant uncle who has come from a long way away, and they're standing and they're paying respect to the twin that's died. And the uncle suddenly says, "Was it you or the other one that died?" Now, Beth would say, "What happened then? What? So what did he say?" Now, maybe you're saying, "Oh, what happened then? What did he say?" I'm hoping that you won't. But anyway, so we set a performance up and we do it. And everybody has a laugh, and they're not laughing at me. You understand? They're laughing at a situation that we've concocted and that has produced some humour. And yet, how can we explain that this has now, I think at the present, it has something like 180,000 views, and about 100,000 of those views have come about in the last few days. So it's almost inexplicable. Sometimes a video will go viral and there's not really any explanation for why. Sometimes it's a quirky little thing and it just catches people's imagination. And this has caught people's imagination, and I keep answering comments and saying, sense of humour required. You need a sense of humour. It's a fun video. It's a joke. Laugh. Enjoy. And so that was why I thought I would do a video and hope that at least the newcomers will not feel that they've got to bash any of us. Bash the old man for being helpless and letting people force food down his throat that he doesn't want. Oh, that is something that I should point out. Even though you see one video in which I am being asked forcibly, relentlessly, to eat these ridiculous pieces of snot that look like came out of somebody's nose, and refusing them, it's not what I usually eat. And then someone was horrified. Oh no, they're asking him to eat cold baked beans and cold rice. It's terrible. Stop crying, Beth. It's not that bad. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm just, I don't know, maybe I'm just a hooligan. I actually like baked beans. And I don't know if you've haven't you ever had baked beans with a big chunk of cheese? Cold baked beans and a chunk of cheese is delicious. My God, you're missing something. And then somebody says, why don't you feed him good American, wholesome, nutritious food like steaks and what else? And beef burgers and French fries and stuff like that. You know, good wholesome food. Every day we go out and I eat the food that I want. In the morning I might have noodles. Noodles are not very healthy for you. We've got so many teachers and only so many days in the week. Sorry. But on Sunday I went out early in the morning and I took all of my kids and congregation, kids, parents, and I took them to church. And then once I got them safely at the church, I turned around and I sneaked off to Taliban to have a breakfast. And I went into Altora's cafeteria and I had my breakfast. Now, I hope this is not going to destroy it for some of you, but it wasn't those winkle things. It wasn't those shell things. I didn't force them down my own throat. I went and I had crab and sweet corn soup, which was delicious and hot. And I also had a special Filipino style hot, it's like a cooked salad, really delicious in a special sauce, water-based sauce, and well, of course I guess it would be water-based, wouldn't it? And that was it. That was my breakfast. And I had a lemonade. I know I shouldn't have had that lemonade, but I did because I wanted it. So then, after I had that light breakfast, I came back. I got back in time to sit through some of the service and see some of the kids get some things that they were happy with, little gifts and stuff like that, make some videos, and then I took everybody home. Now, Sunday is an exhausting day for me, but it's also the highlight of my week because I get to take all of my kids about, I'm thinking about 40 or 50 kids, but it's a guess, 40 or 50 kids in 2 trips, and I get them to church along with some of the parents that go in there with them too. And if I'm lucky and I take the kids from Baby Jane's little community they'll even sing a song to me. It's a joyful day. And I do that. I have my breakfast. Sometimes I'll go to Vidasto and I will have, as I had today, for a change, I had sweet and sour fish fillets. More than I could even eat. And rice, which I requested. Now, I can have whatever I want. And I do. And I have nutritious food. I have vitamins, supplements, and I take them. And I have an exercise-filled life. I have not taken any alcohol in the longest time and don't intend to. I'm not on any kind of medication. And I have a great life. Someone said, well, we're going to retire. I'm going to retire with my husband, an American, something or other, Swedish American or something like that. And we're going to but I'm not going to give him a miserable life. I'm going to feed him nutritious food. And I had to respond by saying, I have a wonderful life. I love my life. How many people do you know that say, I love the life I have? Not the one I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, you know, just to butt in.
Yes, you're butting in. You hijacked my...
I still have a headache.
Oh, well, in that case, then go ahead.
You know, I think because a lot commenting, why is it 2 years ago, the picture of Terence is older, you know, than this one, because this is young.
Oh, well, I'm very young now, can't you
say
know,
it? The difference, I think there's a contentment, you know, and at the same time, you know, just be happy. Just be happy, just be happy in, like, that's your last day.
Are you talking to me now, honey?
Yeah. You know, I'm giving an advice, you know.
Oh, okay.
Just be happy like it is your last day and always
well,
inhale.
This might be my last day.
Simba ko ka. Inhale the good vibes. You know, because if you're sleeping, for example, you're going to the bed, but your heart, your mind is really stressed, you know, full of hatred, full of worries, full of fears for tomorrow. It adds on the weight of your age, and at the same time, it make you shorter to the cemetery.
The cemetery? Oh no, we're not talking about the cemetery.
You know,
again,
so that's why when you sleep, just relax. And on the day, even if life is not easy, just relax.
On the day, we'll go to bed at night, don't we?
Yeah, in the night, when you go to sleep, forget all the problems, forget all the worries, forget all the fears, trust in God, whatever it is.
Honey,
and at the same time...
Honey, stop talking
what?
for a minute. But, I haven't got any worries.
No,
I haven't got any fears.
My advice, darling, my advice to others that asking what makes you look younger 2 years ago, right? And why is it in your age you're still driving? Why is it in your age you're still walking? Because they thought in your age supposedly you're gonna be bedridden. That's what other comments say.
Bedridden?
Yeah. You know, that's why my advice is, you know, I know life is not easy, you know. There's always been spicy in life, but you know what? Just ignore it. Just inhale the positivity, inhale the good vibes. You know, sleep without worries, sleep without fears. You know, leave it to God, and then it will be okay. And in the day, when even if, oh my God, what should I gonna do? Let the problem on you. I know it's not easy. I know that because I already experiencing that. Everyone experiencing that. But always remember, at the end of the dark, there's always be tomorrow that is light.
At the end of the dark?
There's always be morning.
There's always morning.
You know,
that's very profound.
In other words, live like it is your last day. And come to think on it, would you want to live in your last day that full of worries, full of fears? What else? What, you know? So that's my advice, and that, and at the same time,
Yes, dear. What?
Eat a lot of good, what do you call
Winkles?
it? No,
Winkles?
eat a lot of good thinking.
Eat a lot of good thinking.
You know, in other words, don't think bad, think good.
Right. Rubbish in, rubbish out.
Yeah,
garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah.
Or the good stuff in, good stuff. Isn't that why we have a feel-good channel?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm trying to
Subscribe
explain.
to my channel, A Foreigner's Wife in the Philippines.
She's always putting... Wait, get
What?
over here, please. I'm trying to explain why we have a feel-good channel. No, you don't need any lipstick, okay? Now, that hasn't made it any better. You're not any more beautiful. You were beautiful before.
Thank you, darling.
Right. And the other thing is, when you look at videos, no matter what the scenario is, we love each other. And you can't fake that.
Yeah, I love this man.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah, I love this man.
Otherwise, the whole point of what I just said has been
You know,
completely ruined.
We have also, sometimes we taratatat each other.
Rat-a-tat-tat.
You know, taratatat, but at the end of the day,
You do, yes, you do rat-a-tat me sometimes,
he
don't you?
ratatatat me, you know.
Me?
Yeah.
Me?
Especially in the driving, oh my gosh. The driving, if I'm not good in driving, he's like,
You know why that is, don't
That's
you?
why I always said, oh, darling.
You know why that is, though, don't you?
I know.
Because
I know.
you are risking my life.
Oh my God.
If I, do you want me to go politely to my death or go, stop?
You know, so again, let you continue your video, darling, just
I
butt
forgot.
in.
What were we talking about?
So again, don't forget to subscribe. God bless. Sorry, baby. Sorry, baby.
See what I mean? Things happen spontaneously. We didn't agree that. I forgot what I was talking about now. You have to understand that there is a difference between reporting an event, reporting a story, making a comment about something, and a performance. And some of our videos are performances. I'll leave you to judge whether they're worth watching or not, but they are. And so, I wish that I had one of the comments that was made that was, as I commented, it was as dry as a bone, and they were talking with complete dry, I don't know what it is about the British sense of humour, but it's dry. And I said about this comment, I said, it's sorry BB, it's as dry as a bone. But anyway, I was going to try to find it, but I can't. I don't think I can. What's this one? What's this one going to be? Somebody got very impatient and said, can you just edit that out where you were looking for something? It says, Terence, Filipino NASCAR driver. I have no idea what that means. Somebody said I was driving too fast. I'm driving a bus, and it's really not possible to drive very fast. And I took it as a hint that maybe I wasn't driving that fast when kids on little mopeds were passing me on the road. Of course, the white van drivers who are suicidal pass me as if I'm standing still. But anyway, what can I tell you? Now, some of these now, because we have so many Filipinas who are subscribing to us, sometimes I can't always understand what's said. Actually, I should address that. If you're a Filipino, and you're making a comment, and you can speak English, as I'm sure you can if you're an overseas, if you're an OFW, and you can speak English, just for me, if you would put a little bit of your message in English so that I've got a kind of an understanding as to what you're saying. So, well, I will end off there, and I will hope that you will like, comment, subscribe, and, well, share, because if you share, it makes a huge difference to how we are rated. And if you watch, or maybe you're not going to watch, but maybe you can just allow the ads to run. And if you allow the ads to run, it enables us to earn a wage, which actually it would be nice to earn a wage. Now, in dollars, our wage is a pittance, but when it converts to pesos, it's not bad. We're not complaining, okay? Plus, of course, we've got the Patreon, and the Patreon is important to us because, as you will have seen today, every time we go to church on Sundays, we end up having to meet some kind of hardship emergency for somebody. Somebody requires medicine, somebody requires, I don't know, sometimes as simple as a birth certificate for their child so that their child can go to school, because they can't go to school if they don't have a birth certificate. And a birth certificate costs about 300 or 400 pesos, and believe it or not, $6 or $7 or $8 can be beyond a family, especially if they've got more than one child, which is pretty much a given here in the Philippines. So the Patreon, really important for us. Okay, that's enough of my waffling, and I will be gone. Thanks for watching. This is A Foreigner in the Philippines, and I'm well fed. Okay.